Greetings. Salute, Elder Blacklight. Serious talk for serious times. There are questions, very serious questions, that need a very serious answer in today's time. First of all, is this biological warfare being waged upon the planet? If so, who launched it? Who is the cause of this virus? Second, is there an antidote already made up? If so, why aren't they distributing it? And if we find out that the United States and several other countries are responsible for it, or the rich, the very wealthy 1%, 10%, who's going to check them? Watch this.
NBC. Nuclear, biological, and chemical. The three weapons of mass destruction. Bar the first, the latter two have been used extensively throughout history in warfare. And of these, the biological weapons, which have not been used to their full potential, are considered the most abhorrent. Biological weapons are those defined as being living organisms, either bacterial, viral, or protozoic, that infect either an environment or host organism such as animals or humans. Usually the toxins of living organisms are considered non-biological and fall within the purview of the third category of chemical weapons. There are four kinds of bioweapon: bacteria, viruses, rickettsia, and fungi. Their main purpose is to reproduce in the host victim and incapacitate, and be highly contagious or easily transmitted. Bioweapons can be both tactical and strategic. When weaponized, they can be dispersed in the battlefield by artillery or rocket, or dispensed into water supplies or aerosol sprayed to contaminate large areas of Earth to deny enemy occupation. Bioweapons are generally taken from nature, although there have been attempts to manufacture them. They are designed to infect soldiers or civilians or livestock and crops to destroy large populations. Most of these agents are slow-acting, requiring time to multiply in an infected host before causing an effect. Others may not be stable enough to exist outside a host long enough to infect others. Some agents are moderately fast-working but may not be lethal. The kinds of disease or bacterium that have either been used, studied, or weaponized include, but are not limited to, anthrax, Salmonella enterica, Q fever, Rift Valley fever, psittacosis, bubonic plague, typhus type 3, cholera, melioidosis, Lassa virus, Yersinia pestis, plague, yellow fever, Ebola. Others include Marburg virus, tularemia, brucellosis, glanders, Shigella, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Japanese bee encephalitis, and smallpox. Some naturally occurring toxins can also be used as weapons, including the easily manufactured ricin. Staphylococcal enterotoxin B, often the cause of food poisoning, botulism toxin, saxitoxin, and many other mycotoxins.
Microbes are microscopic organisms that we use to bake bread, brew beer, and lately engineer with synthetic DNA to create new biological systems. In this world of synthetic biology, a microbe is seen as a chassis or a structural frame to add genes and DNA. It'll get tested and have its performance improved so it can hopefully do something useful for the world. Yet this potential to modify living organisms and steer them towards global problems is often met with the dark side. It's a swing between promise and total peril, and sometimes called the half-pipe of doom. To understand why this framing exists, we have to go back to the early 2000s. The Human Genome Project was nearing the finish line, and scientists had new molecular tools to dream up promising applications. And a major terrorist attack hit New York City.
There it is. The plane went right through the other tower of the World Trade Center.
In just a week's time, we have had 4 confirmed cases of anthrax, all with media connections, and a number of anthrax scares as well.
At that point, synthetic biology became a potential tool for a whole new kind of weapon.
So when most people think about a bioweapon, they think about some kind of organism. You might think about anthrax bacteria or the smallpox virus, and that is your weapon.
But turning an organism into a lethal pathogen that can do predictable harm requires more sophistication.
Not only do you have to have a pathogen, but then you have to actually know how to reliably hold it, grow it, and then determine ways that you can effectively disseminate it so that the bacteria or toxin wouldn't be destroyed.
After World War I, multiple state governments launched their own biological weapons programs as a research endeavor and stockpiling countermeasure.
And that's probably one of the most top secret pieces of our former bioweapons program, is that formulation of how you keep these things stable to survive as a weapon. These things are living organisms, so they are very finicky. In the Soviet biological weapons program, they tried to create a plague bacteria that was resistant to several different antibiotics. They created this super-duper plague weapon, but actually it was a horrible weapon because it would just die. They couldn't have it survive in the environment.
With the nation, scientists ended up creating enough bioweapons to kill every person on the planet. But luckily, national governments signed a treaty to ban biological weapons.
So this proves that this government and other governments around the world are of the Antichrist. Another word for the Antichrist is Satan. Another AKA word is Israel. That's right. That word means against God. So it's up to us, all those who are sitting at home, got to wear masks, got to be careful who you get close to. You got to formulate a plan. You got to ask yourself also, with Jesus, what would Jesus do? What would Muhammad do? What would Master Farad do? Well, Master Farad said the enemy is in every part of the earth. So the enemy must be removed in every part of the earth. If God is in you, it's all up to us, the righteous. Sometimes sugar, sometimes salt.